You call your dog's name, they look at you, just for a second, and then look away. No tail wag, no trot over, just a slow blink and back to whatever they were doing. And your first thought is probably, are they ignoring me? Did I do something wrong? Are they upset? Most owners assume it's stubbornness. Some assume it's a training failure. A few even wonder if their dog loves them less than they thought. But behavioral science tells a completely different story. And once you understand it, you'll never see that moment the same way again. Meet Claire. She's a 34-year-old marketing manager in Portland, Oregon. She has a 4-year-old rescue dog named Milo, part husky, part mystery. Every morning, Claire goes through the same routine. She makes coffee, gets dressed, and talks to Milo the whole time, narrating her morning the way a lot of devoted dog owners do. "Okay, Milo, I'm leaving in 10. Be a good boy." Milo is sitting by the door. He's not excited. He's not bouncing. He's just watching. Still. Quiet. Claire bends down to give him a hug. He accepts it, but he doesn't lean in. He doesn't lick her face. He just sits there, a little tense, watching her grab her keys. She leaves feeling slightly guilty, slightly rejected. What she assumes, Milo is emotionally distant, maybe even a little cold. What's actually happening inside Milo is something behavioral science has been quietly documenting for years, and it has nothing to do with coldness or stubbornness. It has everything to do with anticipation. In 2019, researchers at the University of Vienna's Clever Dog Lab published findings that reinforced something ethologists had suspected for a long time. Dogs are extraordinarily sensitive to predictive cues in their environment. What that means in plain language is this: your dog isn't reacting to you leaving, they're reacting to the sequence of events that tells them you're about to leave. Think of it like this. Imagine you're sitting in a waiting room at the dentist. You're not in pain yet, but you can hear the drill through the wall. Your body tightens anyway. That's not you being dramatic. That's your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do: prepare. Milo's stillness at the door isn't emotional distance, it's emotional preparation. His nervous system is bracing. His cortisol, the stress hormone, has already started to rise, not because he's sad, but because his brain recognized the cues, connected them to the experience of being alone, and began managing the emotional load in the only way a dog can: by going quiet, by going still, by conserving energy for what comes next. Here's where most well-meaning owners accidentally make things harder. The most common advice you'll hear is, make your goodbyes warm and reassuring. Talk to your dog. Let them know everything is okay. It feels right. It feels kind. But the science suggests it often does the opposite. When you prolong your goodbye, when you use a high, soothing voice, repeat phrases like, "It's okay, I'll be back soon," or give extended physical affection right before you leave, you're not calming your dog's nervous system, you're amplifying the signal. You're essentially confirming that this moment is significant, that something worth preparing for is happening. And because dogs read your emotional state as environmental data, your visible concern becomes part of the cue sequence that triggers their own stress response. Most owners do more at the door because it feels loving. Science says doing less at the door is actually the more loving choice. Not cold, not dismissive, just calm, predictable, unremarkable. The goal isn't to ignore your dog. The goal is to make your departure feel like a non-event, because non-events don't activate the anticipatory stress cycle. When the anticipatory stress cycle gets reinforced day after day, month after month, something gradual happens. Dogs begin to spend larger portions of their day in a state of low-grade vigilance. They're not panicking. They're not destroying furniture. From the outside, they actually look fine, calm even. But internally, their baseline stress level has quietly shifted. What researchers sometimes call chronic mild stress can manifest as subtle changes. A dog that's less playful than they used to be, slightly clingy on weekends, a little quicker to startle, a little slower to settle. Owners rarely connect these dots because the changes are so gradual, and because the dog never appears broken, the pattern continues. Over time, what began as a sensitive dog reading their environment well becomes a dog who has learned that uncertainty is the default state of their day, and that shapes personality, deeply and slowly. Science-aware dog owners don't necessarily do more, they do things differently. The shift isn't about following a protocol, it's about understanding what your dog's nervous system actually needs and realizing that sometimes the most soothing thing you can offer isn't more warmth in the moment, but more consistency across time. Predictable routines, calm departures, a quiet return home where you let your dog settle before you amplify the energy. Not because you love them less, but because you understand how they process the world. When Claire learned this about Milo, she didn't change everything overnight. She just started leaving more quietly. No long speech at the door, a brief, calm touch, and then out. Within a few weeks, she noticed Milo had stopped sitting tensely by the door in the mornings. He'd begun staying on his bed. Sometimes he'd barely look up. She used to find that sad. Now she understood. That was peace. Your dog ignoring you sometimes isn't a sign of distance. It might be a sign that they're doing the quiet, invisible work of managing a complicated emotional world in the only way they know how. Understanding that doesn't require you to become a different kind of owner. It just requires you to look a little closer and assume a little less. If this kind of science-grounded, story-driven content helps you feel closer to your dog, subscribing means you'll never miss the next one.